Why does some podcast audio sound amazing and others not? It's not the mic, it's not the camera, it's the listenability. How your voice keeps people tuned in for the whole episode. You don't need fancy gear, you need smart techniques and a reliable chain. In the next few minutes, I'll show you a recording plus mix chain that works for podcast, documentaries, Netflix-style voiceovers, anything that needs a crystal clear, professional narration. First, listen to this raw vocal. In a world where creativity drives connection, the power of sound is often overlooked. But behind every great story lies a voice that shapes how we feel, think, and remember. Now, listen to this finished chain. In a world where creativity drives connection, the power of sound is often overlooked. But behind every great story lies a voice that shapes how we feel, think, and remember. Presets are not cheats. They are the starting point created by engineers who already understands the plugin. For podcasters and documentary producers who aren't full-time engineers, presets get you 80% of the way fast. The trick is to trust the preset. Then tweak, reduce the threshold, drop a gain, or even sweep a frequency. That's faster and far more reliable than starting afresh. Hey guys, my name is Stasi Music, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. So guys, I use a really cheap mic, but now that you are listening to this, it sounds a bit more professional. So I usually use OBS to record all my voiceovers, mainly because I just like the workflow and its simplicity in doing things. That is why I just like using OBS. But you can use anything, any software that you use to record your voiceovers or to record your podcast. This workflow can be still used in those DAW, in any DAW. What you're hearing right now is actually my vocal that sounds raw without anything or any plugin or any, software involved to fine-tune this vocal. It's as raw as a vocal that comes from the mic to the interface and to the computer, guys. That's how raw this vocal is. So the first thing first, guys, that we always do, you must always set your gain reduction, guys, because I've watched so many podcasts with clipping vocals. So you must make sure that this yellow thing on your DAW, of course, or on your software. This is on every software, guys. On any recording device, you will find this meter, guys. So you must make sure that this thing plays around the green and the yellow, but not the red, guys, because when it's on the red, the software is telling you that this microphone is clipping or this audio is clipping or distorting. To make this vocal sound nice, guys, we are going to go to the filters, guys. These are the filters. So on the filters, what I always do, guys, I always start with a noise suppression. As you can tell, guys, that this vocal does not sound nice. There's too much going on. So let's start with this thing on. So this noise suppression, guys, is from OBS. It comes with OBS. So it has something like the low CPU usage, doesn't use a lot of your CPU when recording your voice over your vocal. But I like to use this one because I have, a capable CPU. So this one makes sure that there is no noise that is coming from the background of your vocal, and there's no noise that will just destroy the vocal while in the process of recording. So guys, for our first plugin here, as you saw that it comes with OBS, guys, it's a noise suppression plugin. You can use any noise suppression plugin, guys. There's a difference between a noise suppression plugin and a gating plugin. So do not use a gate plugin. If you use a gate plugin, this is why you will find your vocals sounding a bit weird and robotic, guys. So a noise suppression plugin always makes sure that it keeps your vocal up front, guys. It makes sure that the vocal is up front and it suppresses anything that is, maybe a fluff or something that can destroy the vocal, mainly those background noise, mainly those background conversations that people will have on the background when you are recording your audio. So a noise suppression plugin works around the vocal. So make sure that you start with a noise suppression plugin to kill all those atmospheric, noises that is there when you're recording your vocal. Hope you understand. Okay, guys, now that you know the difference between a noise suppression plugin and a gating plugin, you have an idea of what plugin to use. And then for our next vocal preparation, because here we are preparing the vocal for the official mix, but we are actually making sure that their recording sounds as nice as possible. So we are going to open this here. So I used here a neutron, guys, gate. I know what you're saying, guys, but this is a preset, guys. So as you can see that when I talk, this thing moves up and down. And I used a preset here called Dialogue Broadband Expansion, guys. It is a gate plugin, but this thing is made for dialogues, guys. Excuse me, it's called a Dialogue Multiband Noise Flow Expander. The next plugin that you have here is a bus compressor. So it's a compressor, guys. You can use any compressor. You can just pause the video and copy these settings that you are seeing here. Here we are making sure that when you are laughing or saying something that is too loud than the original volume that you have set or original gain that you have set for your microphone, it does not clip, guys. So this thing will make sure that it turns those loud frequencies down. So if there's a sound that you are making or a noise that you are making, if it's above the threshold and the ratio that you have set for that particular compressor, this thing will turn it down. And if we are too quiet, this thing will make sure that it boosts that quieter frequencies to somehow something that is, on a right level. And then we have classic EQ, guys. So here it's just, guys, a preset. We use the preset here. It's called male vocal air plus body. If you are working with a female on your podcast, you can just go here again and make sure that you choose a female vocal. As you saw, what our second method of preparing the vocal for the mix or for recording, in this case, it looks like, guys, we had another plugin that makes sure that the vocal is quiet. It makes sure that this vocal is quiet. And then the next plugin that we had a compressor, guys. A compressor is just there to make sure that the vocal is contained. The peaks or the frequencies of the vocal are glued together, guys. And then the last thing on this second step that we used a classic EQ. You can use any EQ, guys, and just copy the settings and it will be fine, guys. So here we just have a slight boost on that low end frequency for a male and also for a female, and that subtle boost on the top end of the vocal, mainly on those presence frequencies or airy frequencies. So make sure that the vocal is as bright as possible, guys. Make sure that you slightly boost the highs, which takes us to this, guys. Okay, guys, and the last plugin that you used is also from OBS. It's another EQ, the most simple EQ, guys. So here we have the highs at around 3 dB for boosting the clarity or for boosting the presence of the vocal, for that extra presence. Now you can tell that the vocal sounds a bit nicer. It doesn't sound as when it was like this. As you can see now, it sounds very, very weird and, it sounds bad, guys. But when you engage these things, it now sounds like a halfway through vocal, guys. And also here we boosted the lows at around 6.50 dB because my vocal, guys, does not have that much of a bassy frequency. And then on the mids, I just tamed around -1 dB because it's where the mud is. It's where the tone is. So I just shifted around -1. And this is how we finish the first step. So guys, this is how these 3 steps will change your vocal. So now it's time we actually mix the vocal. That was just a preparation stage, guys. Record your vocal using the thing. If you record on FL Studio, make sure that these 3 steps are engaged and aligned with your vocal. If you are recording this thing on FL Studio, guys, this is what you can do. Go to your mixer track and then you will click your microphone, of course, and then you will put these plugins that I've just shown you here on your mixer track, And then you will go here, guys. Click here and make sure that you click post effects. This tells FL Studio that each and every time you record on this channel, recording vocals on this channel, you are making sure that you are recording the vocal with these plugins engaged on a vocal. Be careful about this, guys, because this will mean that if you put auto-tune here, your vocal will have auto-tune engaged on it. You cannot take it out at a later stage. So after recording that vocal, you will have a vocal that looks like this. So let's listen to the vocal and see how it sounds like. Two things. The more we boost this vocal is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. So what I mean is that the more we boost on this vocal, meaning the more we boost the compression. So this is the voiceover that I used on my previous video, the Pulsar Vocal Studio video. As you can see this voiceover, this is how it sounds like coming straight from OBS. There's nothing here, literally nothing on its channel. We are on channel number 1. As you can see, there's literally nothing here. This is how it sounds like from OBS to FL Studio, because this is where I fine-tune the vocal. This is where I take it from 50% ready to 100% ready, guys. It's already sounding loud enough, nice, but we can actually boost that loudness. We can actually boost that bassline. We can actually make this vocal sound more like a professional broadcasting vocal for podcast, documentaries, and so on, guys. So now we are going to use a saturation plugin, guys, to shape the tone of the vocal. We are going to go on the preset menu and then go to color and click warm tube bass. So we are going to tweak this specific preset that we have here. We are going to start on the high frequencies. These are the high frequencies, guys. On the highest, guys, it's where you have the air of the vocal. We're going to make a -1 dB here. Just something slight, guys. -1 sounds like this. Two things. The more we boost this vocal, it doesn't change the tone of the vocal. It sounds good. And then here on the high mid frequencies, we have something called the presence. This is where you have the presence, guys, of the vocal. So here, I like to boost around 2 to 3 dB, guys. Two things. The more we boost this vocal is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. Now we have some presence on this vocal. The higher frequencies are starting to come a bit alive. And then here, this is what we call the low mid frequencies. This is where the mud of the vocal is. We do not boost here, guys. So here, I am just going to do a -1 or -2 dB. Two things. The more we boost this vocal is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. Now, this makes sure that the vocal shines through on the top end frequency. So this eliminates the muddiness of the vocal. And then here we are at the low frequencies. This is where you have your bassline. This is where you have a lot of things, including that background noise. But here we are not trying to eliminate any background noise. We are trying to boost here. So we're going to boost 3 dB, of course, here to boost that basic frequency. Two things. The more we boost this vocal is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. Two things. The more we boost this vocal is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. And then for our next plugin on this chain, guys, we are going to use a PSP Master Q2. So this is an EQ, guys, but this one is different from that EQ that we used when we were on OBS. We're going to go on the preset menu and click vocals and click voice over start, guys. Voice over start. This preset was made for voiceovers, guys. So if you use it, this is how it sounds like without. Two things. The more we boost this vocal is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. And with. Two things. The more we boost this vocal is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. So what I mean is that the more we boost on this vocal, meaning now the vocal sounds a bit contained. on the top end, as you can see, this thing rolled off some of that air that we already tamed here, guys. This is the air that I was talking about. This is what this thing did. It gave some shaping, some curve on that high frequencies, because we don't want those S's, guys. They are harsh on the ears. This is another EQ. I know what you're saying. Why so many EQ? Because we are trying to shape the vocal. We are trying to shape the tone of the vocal. We are working the vocal. We are making sure that this vocal, by fire, by force, it sounds like a professional vocal. So there's a preset that I made for FairFilter Pro Q4, and it's this preset, voiceover mix. So as you can see here, we are taming some of that low frequencies. We have rolled off around 57. You can use 57 or a bit lower, 40, 57 hertz, depending on your vocal. Rolling off that low frequencies, guys. Here in a human vocal, here in a normal human vocal, there are no frequencies here, guys. It's always just fluff. It always just the background noise, the ground noise, and so on. Two things. The more we boost this vocal, is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. So as you can see that we also, again, boosted this thing, boosted it around 135 hertz range, and boosted around 2 dB, guys. And then here we just used a spectral shaper to take care of those pain frequencies. And so this is like your subtractive section of the mix. Two things. The more we boost this vocal, is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. And then, guys, we have a PSP bass pressor, guys. So this bass pressor, guys, it's a broadcast glue for energy, guys. This gives your voice that radio present feel without harsh pumping, guys. So we are going to use a preset again here. We are going to go to mix and use something like broadcaster. Two things. The more we boost this vocal, is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. So what I mean is that the more as you saw, guys, that this vocal just went from something that we thought it was loud enough to, being really, really loud. But I like it because it's not distorting. If you feel like the vocal is too loud, you can actually tame, the makeup, bring it down a bit, it'll be fine. So here I like it at 12. It's fine. I've never changed this thing for anything. So guys, this is the PSP FET pressor, guys. I used this plugin to pick control and character. So it's a faster compressor that levels the spikes and adds attitude. We are still making sure that every word is heard on this vocal. We're going to use a preset. So here we're going to use a smooth vocal preset. Just go to the vocal and then click smooth vocal preset. And it sounds like this. Two things. The more we boost this vocal, is the more the problems of these vocals will skyrocket. So what I mean is that the more we boost on this vocal, meaning this plugin almost sounds like a transparent plugin, but believe me, guys, it is doing something on this vocal. And then, guys, for the next plugin, we have the PSP E27. So here I wanted an analog style mid shaping to add clarity and silk to the center frequencies. So that is why you're going to use the silky mid preset. Two things. The more we boost this vocal, is the more the problem vocal. So make sure that your vocal is quiet already. Like this one, it is quiet. But if your vocal has a lot of background noise, a lot of things, just use. So this thing just boosted the vocal to somehow make it sound a bit lighter on the top end frequency. And then, guys, we are using now a FairFilter Pro DS. So, guys, this plugin will target the sibilance before it becomes annoying. So here, we are not using any preset, guys. We're just using our ears to make sure that this vocal is listenable, guys, because the plugins that you just added just boosted a lot of S's and T's of this vocal. So make sure that your vocal is quiet already. Like this one, it is quiet. But if your vocal has a lot of background noise, a lot of things, just use a noise suppression plugin, because it doesn't come with this thing. As you can see that this thing is actually making sure that it's draining that S's and T's. But you can still hear the S's and T's, but now it's a bit more controlled, guys. For that last controlling of this vocal, we are using Soothe 2. So Soothe 2, guys, is a spectral resonance tamer. So this thing will make sure that it tames those resonances and make sure that it takes care of those unwanted resonances in the vocal. So we are going to use a preset here called Balance to the Grammy Awards. So it sounds like this. So make sure that your vocal is quiet already. Like this one, it is quiet. But if your vocal has a lot of background noise, a lot of things, just use a noise suppression plugin. It almost works or sound like your Gulfas plugin. And the last plugin that you used on this vocal, guys, we used a noise remover plugin. It's also a noise suppressor plugin, guys. Suppress the noise. So this is the noise remover that we used just to make sure that the vocal is still quiet, guys, after boosting those things. So here we are not going to use any plosive remover plugin because my vocal is not that too loud on plosives and too loud on breaths. So that is why I just used a noise remover plugin. So after the chain is done, after this simple chain is done, as you saw that we used preset. This is how the final outcome sounds like, guys, but I'll just make you listen to this thing one more time without. So make sure that your vocal is quiet already. Like this one, it is quiet. And with it. So make sure that your vocal is quiet already. Like this one, it is quiet. That's the quick start chain I use for clean, professional voiceovers, podcast, dog narrations, corporate voiceovers, or streaming voice work. If you want the full project file and the exact preset tweaks, I've dropped them in the description. And if this helped, hit like, subscribe, and share with a podcaster who still sounds like they recorded in a bathroom. Drop any questions or your favorite preset in the comment below. I read them all. See you on the next one.